I'm gonna let Brad Pitt take it away for me.
What's in the box?
In theory, this box contains the perfect middle ground between the Stark Varg and the Zero XE. The Stark Varg is putting down a comical 80 horsepower and it costs you $12,990, which, by the way, that only gets you 60 of those ponies. You need to pay a €13 per month subscription for the pro modes, which literally no one is talking about. At the other end of the spectrum, the Zero XE just launched at the end of 2025 with 20 horsepower and costing you $6,794. This is the Y-Volt Surge V. It'll cost you $6,899, and for your trouble, you get a bike putting down 48 horsepower, 700 foot-pounds of torque, and weighing in at only 209 pounds with a 1-year warranty. Looking online, if you order before April 30th, you'll get the Founders Edition, which comes with a helmet, 17-inch wheel set, and a $300 discount. You also get some drip, just in case you think the gold flake in the carbon fiber wasn't flashy enough. I'm reading this VO on April 2nd, and according to the website, if you order right now, you can expect one of these to land at your front door April 8th through the 12th. There is a link down below with a code Spites Corner if you want to check this out. By the way, the folks at Y-Volt did send me this Surge V so that I can make content with it, and I do get to keep the bike. So this is a sponsored video, and you're welcome to take everything that I have to say with a grain of salt. Whoops. Try that again. So literally 10 bolts, 4 wire connectors, and 4 zip ties later, this thing is ready to rock and roll. It is super simple to put together right out of the box, and if you can do lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, you can assemble this motorcycle. Now let's talk about some of the electronic specs on here, because I know that's what people are going to be concerned with. This thing packs a 97 volt, 42 amp hour battery that takes 3 hours to charge on the included level 1 charger. The folks at Y-Volt claim that you can get roughly 74 miles out of that battery at 15 miles an hour. Now I say roughly because they report it in kilometers an hour. I also prefer the way that Stark Future does their range estimates. They do it in ride time, because when you're talking about dirt bikes, ride time matters more than actual distance. If I was gonna put a guess based on some of the riding that I've been doing, I would reckon that this thing gets between an hour and a half and 2 hours, depending on how much you're using that throttle. There are also 3 different ride modes on here. You've got an eco mode, which is limited to about 25 miles an hour. You've got drive mode, which gets you up to 50 miles an hour. And then the sport mode is completely unlimited, and it gives you a bonkers amount of power. That will get you up to the bike's rough top speed of about 70 miles an hour. Now with it sitting here in the garage, I do want to mention that I'm kind of impressed with the actual build quality and all the touch points on the bike. It feels good in the hand, it feels good to sit on, and it feels good to ride down the street. I also like how there's a lot more motorcycle style hardware on here. We've got big forks, big shock, big sized bike, and we have proper triple trees with normal handlebar clamps. And that just opens up a lot more availability when it comes to customization. Like I could put rocks risers on here right now. One thing I haven't been able to play with yet is the phone app that's supposed to allow you to dial some of the modes and connect to the bike and stuff. That's coming out in April, so I can't really speak to it. I do really wish though that you were able to dial the modes from the dashboard. That feels like something that would be pretty simple to do. But with all that said, let's get this thing out of the garage and into a little dirt loop that's here in my neighborhood, because you can with an electric bike, because they're so quiet, you're not really gonna bother anybody. So let's go play in the backyard. And speaking of the quiet, one of the reasons why I love riding an electric dirt bike off-road is because you can actually hear what's going on around you. You can hear what your tires are doing and what the brakes are doing. It's a really unique experience. You also don't need to wear earplugs in your helmet, which is a really nice change of pace. It also means that you can hear your communicator better, and if you don't have one on your helmet, now is the perfect time to click the link down in the description below and check out a CARDO. Today and tomorrow they are running their Easter flash sale to celebrate the day that Christopher Columbus got in his spaceship, flew to the moon, slew Vashtor the Archiphane, and saved humanity from the onslaught of the Greeble Empire, I think. But jokes aside, you can get 20% off the entire store today and tomorrow by clicking that link down in the description below and using the code SPITE10. In case you're curious, I'm running a free comm on my dirt helmet because really when I'm out there in the dirt, all I want to do is listen to some music. But whether or not you're looking at a free comm, a Pack Talk Pro, or an Edge, you can click that link down in the description below and get up to 20% off by using that code SPITE10. Now let's hit the dirt.
All right, we're gonna hit it in eco mode first, just to give you an idea of full throttle acceleration. Start standing up. So, like the thing says, it's limited to about 50 kilometers an hour, about I think that's about 25 miles an hour. So let's go into drive mode. And it's already a lot faster. That's full throttle right there. I'm actually having to get off the throttle pretty early. Let's go back in sport mode, and I can promise you right now, I will not be getting to full throttle. There's full throttle. Holy shit, that's fast. Gotta get on the brakes. It is crazy how fast this frickin' thing is in sport mode. We're gonna start our ride at an indicated 8.1 kilometers and 68% battery. So that'll give you an idea, and I'll be timing how long this goes. I'm gonna just run it in, we're in park mode now. Let's put it into drive. That's, I think, the most fun, where I think most folks are going to be riding it if they're getting on the trails. So, I'm going to go in here, tear up the undergrowth a little bit. Yeah, you give it a little bit of throttle, and the tires are so nice because it gives you just instant grip, which is pretty good for a no-name, just random dirt tire that came on it. They're good gnarly knobs on here, and it changes direction so quickly because it's so light. But one of the things that surprises me about this thing, I keep wanting to call it the Stark, but of the Surge, is how much the hardware actually feels like proper motorcycle gear. God damn, this thing will go fast if you want it. All right, let's go back into the dirt loop. Let's hit this one on sport mode. Wow, that's so much power. It's so much harder to ride in sport mode, but all of the direction changes are freaking instantaneous because it just lights that rear tire up. Yeah. Okay, that's about enough of that nonsense because that's hard. It's hard to ride this thing in the sport mode just because of how instant the torque is and how much it will just not care. But then you pop it into eco mode and you can just, cruise. You don't have to worry about that instant throttle ripping your head off. And this is where that this little 90 degree setup is where I experience my only real issue with this bike, and that's the front brake. I think the front brake is just a little soft. It's crazy how much the suspension actually feels like it's working right. Because to give you an idea, in all my gear right now, I'm probably about 280 pounds. That's a lot. That's over the recommended weight limit of this thing. And yet it's still working really, really well. I would have no problem going out and hitting the trails all day on this thing. You get the suspension set up properly, and it'll work really nice. Oh yeah, that drive mode. That's where it's at, man. It's just a really good mix of usable power, but it's not too instantaneous. It feels a lot more like a fast CRF 250F. Yeah, that honestly, I keep coming back to that as my like go-to for these smaller size electric dirt bikes, because it's really just kind of the most approachable little bike, right? It's cheap, it's easy to get into, it's easy to maintain, but it only makes about 14 horsepower. So this thing would absolutely stomp a 250. Oh man. I'm actually getting tired because I can, like, you could just ride this as fast as you want and get after it. I've done, let's see, it's at 11 kilometers now. So I've done, what is that, 3Ks, and I've gone down to 60% battery. But I'm full throttling it as much as I can. But I don't want you to just take my word for it. Whitney's been riding my XSR 900, the giveaway XSR, link for that down in the description, by the way, if you want to get entered to win. Yeah, she's been riding the giveaway XSR 900, so as payment, I needed some feedback from her on the old Y-Volt. So let's see what Whitney has to say.
What did you think?
I thought that was really fun. Like, I'm kind of jealous that you have this.
Right?
Yeah, when he was like, oh, ride this e-bike, I'm like, okay, sure. But it looks cool, which you know how much I appreciate that. But also, it feels like a little weird turning it, but so does a dirt bike.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Also, I haven't set the suspension. It's literally like just right out of the box.
But that's fun. Like, that's fun.
Did you get into sport mode at one point?
I did. I was a little worried about traffic, but sport mode was a lot more fun. Mode button. Woo! It's actually kind of fun that there's no front brake. The front brake, you're like, it's soft. I'm like, there is no front brake. But when you do the back, it kind of skids a little bit. Like,
Yep.
You could do a lot of fun stuff, and it didn't feel scary doing that. Like, it would be fun to try to like skid the back tire and stand up and.
The best way I can describe it is it's like the middleweight Stark Varg experience. That's kind of where I've wanted a bike like the Stark for a long time, and this claims about 50 horsepower in that sport mode.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I think once you adjust the suspension and fix a squishy brake, that could be like this is your gateway drug into stunt biking, I think.
Yeah, and there's a little like dirt path in that field
Oh,
back
dude,
there
yes.
that I just go out and I rip this thing in every couple of days just
that was
for fun.
The first thing I thought too, like how easy it would be to just like go off road and go dick around in your suburb or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking it out to the trails eventually, but yeah,
Cool.
I've been farting around with this. It's so much fun.
It's a sexy farting around machine.
There you go. The Whitney opinion, a sexy farting around machine.
What can I say? It is.
So with Whitney's take on this bike out of the way, I do want to ask one of the more important questions, and that is, would I categorize this an electric motorcycle or an electric mountain bike? This is, without a doubt, an electric motorcycle. It has a lot more motorcycle hardware. It has the power of a motorcycle. It's the size of a bike. I mean, just take a look at this thing with me sitting on it. This feels every bit like the CRF 250F, and with the 21-inch front end that you can get on here, it would feel even more properly motorcycle sized. That does give me an opportunity to talk about some of the stuff that I would like to see improved on this. First and foremost, I'd like to see this just come standard with 21/18 rims. They do have an option which does necessitate longer forks up front, but I would prefer to see that. I don't know why a lot of these electric bikes are defaulting to a 1919. A 21H18 setup is just a lot more standard. Another thing, as a motorcyclist, I really want to see a rear foot brake, and I'd like to see actual proper motorcycle brakes on here. The brakes on here, they work. They're fine. They slow the motorcycle, but that front brake, like Whitney called out and I mentioned in the ride, it's a little bit soft, and sometimes you're not 100% sure if that's gonna stop you until you get on the rear brake. It's possible that with a fluid flush and some bitier pads, we would get better feel, but I feel like right now it's let down more at the caliper than anywhere else. I just find it a little bit curious that that's what they went with, considering that the suspension feels like proper motorcycle suspension. The chain and the sprockets on here, they're proper motorcycle sized gear. And then everything else just feels traditional motorcycle. So I know it's an electric bike, but I really want that rear foot brake, you know? That's how I learned how to ride a dirt bike. Now, because this is a bike that you're gonna buy online and it's gonna show up at your house, I wanted to ask a few questions to Y-Volt that I figured you guys may ask of me. So here's what we've got. If you buy one of these motorcycles today, it will ship to your door in 7 business days, and it's gonna show up on a big giant truck. If you wanted to buy an additional set of rims for this motorcycle, whether it's the 2118, the 1919, or a set of 17-inch Supermoto rims, it is $500 with an extra $300 for the 2118 because of those longer forks. That does not include the rotors, the mounting hardware, or the sprocket for the rear tire. Now, if you look online, maintenance parts for this, stuff like replacement rotors or bolts or levers or whatever, that's not currently listed on the site, but I asked them what you could expect to pay, mostly because I'm curious what is gonna happen if I bin this motorcycle. They said you can expect to pay roughly equivalent to what Surron parts cost. And then the big one in terms of after-sales support. If something goes wrong with this motorcycle, you have access to them via their website. They'll help you troubleshoot stuff. Or if you're in the LA area, they actually have dealerships. They're trying to build out a dealer network, but you can actually go get this thing serviced if you're in LA, which that tracks. I mean, everything's in LA these days. But I'm gonna go ahead and give this motorcycle a solid thumbs up right here. I would give it 2 thumbs up if it came standard with the 2118 rim setup and the longer forks from the factory. I would also like to see a better front brake on this bike. But other than that, this is just my new dirt bike because I don't have the bandwidth to maintain an actual gas-powered dirt bike. Electric bikes are so much simpler. You just charge it and go. Clean the chain every now and again, make sure you got air in the tires and the spokes are tight. But other than that, it's super simple. If you're interested in checking one of these out, there is a link down in the description below where you can use the code SPITESCORNER to let them know I sent you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.